Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly Edwards from cookingwithkimberly.com and this is the Cooking with Kimberly show. Tonight I'm making you something super exciting. To me it's exciting anyway. I love using things that I don't often use. Now today I'm going to use quinoa. I've used quinoa before. I use quinoa, you know, pretty regular, but I'm excited because I just got a great big bag and now I'm going to use a whole bunch of it. So tonight I'm going to make you guys a Mexican quinoa salad. That's what's up. Now you can serve this salad warm, or you can serve it like let everything cool and then serve it that way. You're actually gonna serve it on a bed of lettuce like a salad and everything else is gonna go on top. So you can make this vegetarian if you like. You can do black beans if you want, but tonight I'm going to do ground beef and that's how I'm rolling with it. So I'm gonna put ground beef in there. You could also do beans and the beef, or you could use ground chicken. No, be experimental. Pulled pork would be fantastic in this. Anyways, sit tight and you're gonna see some more about this. All right, so for those of you who haven't used quinoa before, quinoa is a grain. And it's actually a super grain. It's an ancient super grain. This has been around forever and ever. I had got the Bob's Red Mill variety, if you can see that, quinoa. That's actually the only variety they had at my store when I went. But what I like about this variety is that it's organic, first of all. Secondly, it's rinsed and air dried, okay? So what does that mean? That means sometimes when you get rices and things like that, Asian rices, you want to rinse them. And what I mean in rinse is put them in a colander or a strainer like this, rinse them under cold water. Use your hand, move them around, right? So you measure out your amount, rinse, 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 rinse. You wanna make sure that the water that's coming out isn't cloudy anymore. The things that are coming off of this quinoa are called saponins. Now, saponins are like a molecule that is like soap. Saponin, if you guys haven't taken, you know, the chemistry and biology and stuff, saponin. So what it does is it makes your final product cloudy and kind of like slimy and sticky. You know, sometimes you get rice and it's just kind of like got this coating when it's not an arboreal rice for a risotto. Because with risotto, that's what you want to retain. But with most rice, you don't want that extra creamy, and the same thing goes with quinoa, okay? So mine's already rinsed. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Bob's Red Mill. Appreciate that. Okay, so now that we got that all out of the way, let's start cooking. On my stove, I have a medium sauce pot, and I am going to turn the heat on in 1 second. I have a large frying pan. I'm actually going to pan saute, fry up my ground beef, okay? Now, you don't have to use ground beef, just like I said, it's all good. So, into this pot, I'm going to put 2 cups of liquid. Now, you may use water if you like, and you may use stocks if you like, okay? Chicken stock, beef stock, whatever the heck you like. Now, I was gonna use water until I just remembered how awesome it is. We made ribs last night, and when we make ribs, we boil them. And we had all that awesome liquid left from boiling those ribs and making them tender, right? So I reduced that this morning, like a champion, and now I have this beautiful pork rib broth, and that's what I'm going to use for this quinoa. Now you don't have to, big deal, and don't, just relax that it's not beef and beef stock and pork, it's all good. We're just looking for some flavor. I'm looking for something with more flavor than water. Got me? You can use water if you want to. If that's what you got, that's what you got. And if you're a vegetarian, please don't use that. You can use a vegetable stock as well. So that's what I've done. I've also, you can use tea, don't forget. You can use tea as well. It's a great alternative. It gives a little bit more flavor. So into that pot goes that 2 cups of water or liquid, okay? And we're gonna bring that up to a boil. So sit tight on that one. It's gonna sit over here. Put your lid on it, c'est ça, okay? This one over here is on about medium heat, and I'm going to put some olive oil in here just to get the pan ready to brown up my ground beef. Okay, I have about 1 pound of ground beef tonight. This recipe serves 4 to 6 people, I would say, just depending on how darn hungry you are. Now, the beautiful thing about grains, too, is when you mix them with the legumes, see if you had the beans, if you want to mix beans with it, it becomes a complete protein, and that's what's so marvelous about this stuff, right? It's especially when you're a vegetarian, right? So that's gonna come up to a boil. This is getting all heated up. So I'm getting my pan ready. My oil is dancing, all is well. And I'm gonna throw my ground beef in there, okay? Sizzle, sizzle. I wanna brown that up, okay? So you're gonna use a paddle or a wooden spoon or a spatula. Break up that meat. We're also gonna season that meat. We're going to season that meat with some salt and pepper. I need some salt. Now I'm using these really cool salt and pepper mills, and also I'm going to use chili powder for this recipe, but I'm not actually going to use chili powder. You can use chili powder. It's what you're supposed to use. But I'm going to use ground chili flakes because I got these cool things and I want to use them, and I think it's going to be awesome. So these are from Drogeria. These are really heavy duty spice mills. They're fantastic. So in goes a little bit of salt, all right? In goes some freshly cracked black pepper. I'm very generous with my freshly cracked black pepper. It's one of my favorite things. All right, and I'm gonna put just a little bit of chili because I'm gonna put more chili into the quinoa. Now, when you're using this particular type of grinder, the grind is really, really fresh, got me? So it's the most fresh that spice is gonna be, hear me? So when you grind it, it's like, ooh, it's really fresh, meaning it's gonna be super hot and it's got all those essential oils and things, right? So when you use the flakes out of one of these, you know, when you get out of the Italian restaurant around your place, they're whole and, you know, they've been sitting a while. So when you're using them to cook with, it's not nearly as fresh. When you break them up, it's super fresh. So you only need a little tiny bit. You will be like shocked at how much less you actually have to use. So beware of that. Like I'm only doing 1 or 2 turns. Not very much. There's not a lot going in there. And you're just going to stir this around until all the meat is browned, okay? And once the meat is browned, I want you to drain off any of the excess fat that you don't really need. You got me? You don't need it. So pour it off and then reserve the rest of the meat. And that's going to be topped atop this Mexican quinoa salad. So this is coming up to a boil, and we'll be right back when that happens. So my water's come up to a boil. My liquid has come up to a boil. My meat is already beautifully browned, all is well. I'm about to get any of that extra grease out of there. It's all ready, so I'm just going to turn that off. Now my water's going, my liquid is going. I'm stirring in my quinoa to 1 1/4 cups worth. Now don't forget to rinse it if you have to. And you're going to just stir it, making sure everything's coated, evenly combined. You don't just have a pile of quinoa in the middle of the pot. Okay, we're going to cover it back up. We're going to turn it down to medium heat. On my gas stove, I always find that I need to raise the temperature slightly more than what I would do on my flat top or a regular element stove. So I am putting this on just above medium. 10 minutes, we're going to let this boil, and then we'll be right back. Oh, in the meantime, I'm going to be chopping up these veggies. I should show you this. So we're going to chop up 1 large tomato just so that you can top your salad off later. I also have 1 cup of frozen corn ready to go. That's going to go in the pot in like a hot second. I also have 3/4 of a cup of salsa ready to go. 1/4 cup, or half of the cup of salsa I'm going to use for people to, you know, put it on their own salad at the end. 1/4 of it's going to go into that pot. What else do I have here? Oh, the lettuce. You need about 6 to 8 big romaine lettuce leaves. Okay? So you're just going to take them off the lettuce. You're going to wash them in cold water. These are all soaking wet still. I'm going to pat them dry, and I'm going to tear them up. I'm going to rip them off the rib and get them ready in a big salad bowl. And then we'll be right there. There's my timer. All right, so into the pot now. It's not quite done. You can smell that it's a little bit raw still. You know how beans smell raw when you boil them at the beginning? It's kind of how the quinoa smells as well. Okay, so I'm going to, there's not a lot of liquid left, but there's some. It's not all the way done cooking. But into this pot, I'm putting 1 cup of frozen corn. And I'm also going to put that salsa. Okay, 1/4 cup of salsa. Use whatever kind of salsa you want. You know what I'm saying? Or make your own salsa if you're really feeling yourself that day. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm stirring that in. Stir, stir, stir. I'm also going to season this quickly. All right, I'm gonna season it with some salt and pepper. Now, I used broth, which was already salted, so I don't need to use too much. Altogether, we're looking for about a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, if you have a salt, diet that you need to reduce your salt, then reduce the salt. You don't need it all. But, it's to taste for the most part. Into that goes freshly cracked black pepper, just because that's what's up and that's what I like. Probably, I would say about an 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe, 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'd say 1/4 in my case. All right, that's gonna be delicious and fabulous. Stir, stir, stir. I'm also gonna put in some chili powder, but I'm gonna grind my chili flakes in here. Now, I think I neglected to tell you, I didn't get these at my grocer either, these little grinders. I couldn't find them there. So I did get them online at Qualifirst Foods. That's qualifirst.com. They have lots of really cool imported stuff that you're going to love. Okay, so this is gonna go back onto this stovetop. I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it go for between 2 and 5 minutes. Mine probably looks like it's about 2 minutes because there's not that much liquid left. So just put a timer on, 2-3 minutes, eyeball it, guesstimate. Don't forget that corn has some liquid too, and your salsa. So put that back on there. We don't want it to be like runny. We want the quinoa to be done. Make sure you taste it. Make sure it's tender. Make sure there's not excess water everywhere. And that's it, that's all. You want to make sure that it's kind of thickened up and you don't have all that extra runny stuff because that's not what you want. All right, so back onto here, covering it up, putting my timer on, and we'll see you in a minute. What am I doing? I'm going to slice up a lime wedge. I'm also going to grate up some cheese because I think it'd be really nice to have some cheddar cheese on top. You don't have to do that. You can do it if you want. Going to get my hot sauces out. What else am I going to do? All is well. I've got my salad ready to go right here, all good and go. And I'm going to chop up some cilantro. If you have fresh cilantro, this is going to be awesome. Chop up some nice fresh cilantro so you can top everything up. You got me? Cool. I think actually I might even put it in the pot beforehand. So, all right, everybody, we're getting there, okay? So this is the next step. Now, I'm going to take this off again. I'm going to put yet another 1/4 cup of the salsa in just because I think it needs it and I think it's be beautiful. That stock is beautiful in here. You've got to use stock. In my opinion, it's just so much more flavor. It's like bananas. Okay, so now at this point, typically I'd put the cilantro in now, but I'm not cooking for just me. And not everybody likes cilantro, right? So I'm going to keep this. I actually cut up way more because I love cilantro. I have like ½ a cup. I would say you use about a 1/4 cup if you're going to put it into the pot. You don't have to. Chop it up, put it on after if you like. Keep it raw and fresh. So that's what I've done. I've also put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil, not only for flavor, but to make sure that, everything's all copacetic. All those ingredients are marrying together and the flavors are, getting through there, coating all those grains. This is gorgeous. So now I'm going to put this back on the stove, like 2 more minutes. I'm covering it up one more time. I want to make sure it's all thickened. I just put a little bit extra liquid in and it doesn't need to be in there, just like wet. So I'm just going to let it thicken for maybe another 1 or 2 minutes and we're done. I'll show you how to plate this up. Be right back. All right, everybody. Everything's ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to assemble and I'm ready to eat. I'm starving. Okay. First things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some salad in my plate, which is just these leaves. Now, if you want to dress it up with more veggies, then go ahead. I'm not telling you not to. Go ahead. I want a good amount, okay? Because I want this to counteract just the rest of my stuff. I want some greenery. I guess I should leave that right here so you're going to see it. Next, I'm going to put on some of my quinoa, okay? So be generous and do as much as you like. Also, in that last step, when you put, the oil in and you put the rest of that salsa in, you can also put your beans in. You can put them in before that with the corn. You know what I mean? If you were using black beans or whatever kind of beans you want to use. You can use kidney beans. You could probably use pinto beans as well if you're really interested in that. So onto my salad. I like the difference between that cold salad and my hot ingredients. I really think that that's awesome, culinarily speaking. It makes my taste buds happy. All right. Next, I heated up that meat again. It's all nice and warm. I'm gonna put that meat on top. If you want to mix it in with the quinoa, by all means. But this way, I can make sure that I only give as much meat to the people that they want. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like a lot of meat. Some people don't like meat at all. vegetarians, vegans, whatever. Just don't feel like it that night. So this way, everyone kind of has control over their portions, right? Next, I'm going to put the cheese on because I kind of want it to a little bit melt. I just grated up some cheddar cheese. You can use Tex-Mex if you like, because this is, you know, Mexican. Onto that, I'm going to put some tomatoes. Gorgeous. I'm totally killing this with cilantro. For me, anyway. And I have this really awesome salsa that I just got that I'm so excited to use on here. On it goes. I'm putting maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon or so. This is going to act as our quote-unquote dressing. Instead of having to use a vinaigrette or some kind of other dressing that you don't really want to make and you don't want to use all those extra calories on more oil, right? This keeps it healthier. Using salsa as a flavoring device is a fantastic idea. And salsa is very low in fat and calories. It's just tomatoes and veggies. Also, I'm going to serve it with a lime wedge, but I'm going to sprinkle mine on right now. All right. I don't think I need any hot sauce because that chili flake spiced up that quinoa in a real way, and that's exciting as well. All right, so let's try this out. Oh, the salsa. I wanted to show you. This is from the Garlic Survival Company. This is for people that really, really love garlic a lot. This company, that's what it's about. So this is actually their triple garlic salsa. More garlic, not heat. Made with fire roasted tomatoes and Gilroy garlic in 3 different ways, garlic. So this is super duper uber tasty. Again, I got that from Koala First. You can check out my reviews and stuff. Make sure you do that. This stuff, super tasty if you like garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't bother. You don't have to like garlic. No one does have to anything. All right, so if you want to put hot sauce on, you can. I'm just mixing this up. I'm kind of using my lettuce as a quote-unquote bowl, fresh bowl. All right. You could also wrap all these ingredients up in one of those romaine lettuce leaves and eat it like a wrap. Come on, man. You could even bring it for lunch the next day to work. Okay, so let's try this stuff. That's awesome. Super delicious. I really, 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 really love this. This is a great recipe. The quinoa, you know, it beefs up your recipe in a way, no pun intended, really. It beefs up your recipe in a way that makes it so much more healthy without having to use some bad ingredient that you don't want to use. All right? The lettuce cuts everything up perfectly. I love that it's warm. It's kind of like a taco salad, but healthier. It's fantastic. Anyway, excuse me. If you've never cooked quinoa, it's not scary and it doesn't take long. You just have to find it. That's all. Go on and find it. I can't stop eating. I gotta get out of here. You guys got to go. I'm so excited about this recipe and I really hope that you guys try this out. That's it. That's all. That's how you make Mexican quinoa salad. I love it. Shout out to you, Matilda. You're awesome. Also, follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. I hope you like the fan page. It's facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. And my site is cookingwithkimberly.com. That's it. That's all. Eat deliciously. Be a champion in your kitchen. All right?